Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to my live this afternoon. At least in my time zone, it is. It's 12:50 in the afternoon. I wanted to talk about flea market and yard sales. Um, if you ever wanted to basically have a garage sale, but you didn't want to have a garage sale um, at your home, you can always go to a flea market and pay to get a table, whether it's covered or if you're inside, perhaps, or if you want to be out on the ground. Usually they give you some options. So you just pay your rent for that day to use, the table. And usually you can do pretty good at a flea market. Um, a lot of it depends on what time of day that you go. And usually, I will say this, I do know this as a fact. If you can go to the flea market, usually in the AM, about the time they open, maybe an hour and a half after, or even when they open. The only reason why I don't suggest right when they open is you do have a lot of flea marketers that religiously do it, and you can have lines waiting to get in. So the thing to do is to wait, about an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours later after the flea market opens to go in, reserve a table, and you can just go, drive your car around and set everything up real nice to where, you can go ahead and sell. The sales at a flea market can usually be pretty good. Um, you know, a lot of it also depends on how much you're asking for the item. But you have to be careful um, in the course of selling because at the flea market, you do tend to come across all walks of life. What do I mean by that? Um, Basically, this right here, just trying to figure it out in my head how to come across. Um, People don't always like to pay um, what your asking price. There's nothing wrong with negotiating, but there is something wrong with you know lowballing, or sometimes even below that. And I am not okay with lowballing. That is a turnoff to me. For example, if I'm selling something for $10 and somebody comes along and says, "Well, you're asking 10, will you take 8?" Sure, 8 is fine. But if you come along and you say, "Oh, I'll give you $3, we have a problem. Now, that item that I'm asking $10 for in the store might cost you 25, 30, or above. So I figure $10 is more than a fair price. But I would let it go for 8 or even 7, but you really have to be careful with your low ballers. Um, you know, and not only that, I want to switch gears over to the yard sales for a minute if I can. When you go to yard sales, people are wanting to get rid of the item, because it's of no value to them or they may not want it. So you can usually rake up a good deal at a yard sale. You can usually get, you know, things at a pretty good price. I know a lot of people who do flea markets who go to yard sales to buy their merchandise. They get it at a decent enough price. They're just as anxious to sell it as you're as anxious to purchase it. But I know people that go to yard sales, buy their merchandise. They may or may not have to clean up the item, and they'll turn around and resell it for two, two and a half, three times more and what they paid for it. You do have people out there who like to drive around different subdivisions and see what people may throw away in their trash. Another one that people like to do that's pretty effective is go to Dipsty Dumpsters and look and see what items can be found. And that can usually be a pretty good thing. This was about maybe 4 years ago, perhaps. I was living in an RV park and I needed a few boxes. So I went around to the backside of the Dempsey dumpster. There were two there. I went to the one closest to my car. I didn't see any boxes. And then, of course, I went to the second backside Dempsey dumpster and came around. When I came back to the first one and slid the door open, I see this Phillips component. It's the backside is facing me, so I didn't know what it was. I thought, oh, what is this? So I picked it up, turned it over, and it was a Philips Blu-ray DVD player. So I took it, put it in my car. I didn't, at that point, I didn't really, a box was not of a concern to me. So I went back to my RV, went back inside, plugged it in, grabbed a DVD, put it in there, hit play, nothing would happen. I thought, oh, okay, maybe a dirty lens. So I go and grab a screwdriver. I take the top off, and I looked down, and I tried it again. I wanted to see exactly what the disc was doing. So in the course of doing that, I looked a little bit further in, and I see this card. I think it was like an Uno card that was covering the lens. So I take that out. I get a Q-tip, a little alcohol, clean laser eye, dry it off with the other side of the Q-tip, and then I put the disc back in, close the tray door, hit play. Lo and behold, it played as if nothing was wrong with it. So it makes me believe that a child, when the parent wasn't looking or whatnot, took this card and stuck it in there. It might have been done intentional, I don't know. I haven't sold that particular Blu-ray DVD. I still have it. It's a nice one, but you can find, but money is out there to be made. A good couple, $300, $400, $500. You do have to have the right merchandise. That's the biggest key. But money can be made, and you don't necessarily have to go and work for somebody. You can work for yourself doing just this, going to yard sales, checking Dempsey dumpsters. Yeah, you might get lucky, you might not. It's a hit or miss. Subdivisions, again, hit or miss. You may not find something, but it's definitely a good, like I was saying in the beginning, it's a good way to get rid of a lot of merchandise or stuff that you don't want, that is no longer needed in your household. It may be collecting dust. It's of no value to you. So why hang on to something, maybe something, you look at an item that's sitting on a shelf, oh, I'm going to hang on to this, and then a year or two goes by, you haven't done anything with it. Part ways with it, sell it, because it's probably more good to somebody else than it is you. Well, for you, it's just going to continue to sit there, gather dust, and it could possibly break without being used, which is no good to any item as far as I'm concerned. So it's better to just go ahead, sell it. Now, down the road, if you ever get to the point to where you might want that item back, you could always easily go and repurchase it again. I have a few pieces that I'm considering parting ways with. Do I feel bad that I'm going to part ways with it? In a way, yes, but in a way, no, because I'm not using it. It's lying dormant, and I can always just pass it on to somebody else. I can sell it, get some money out of it, make a little money on it, perhaps. And they'll be a happy camper. I'll be a happy camper. Anyway, I just wanted to come on and do this quick little live about flea market sales and the yard sales. And I hope that I was of some info to you, of some help. And again, when it comes to my channel, I do hope you like what you see. If you're somebody that's just passing by, I hope that you subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Of course, my veteran subscribers that I do have, I greatly appreciate you being here. It means a lot to me. Anyway, I will go ahead, tell everybody to have a great day. And it's been fun talking about this subject, and I look forward to speaking with you next time. Bye.